Mm. Shalom, Yahabashim, Yahushabarakatha. This is Priest and Officer Recall Ariel hitting you up out of Boston, Massachusetts, out of the Israelite School of Universal and Practical Knowledge, straight out of 1 West 125th Street, Home, New York, under command of General Yohana. And what we do is we teach the Black, Hispanic, and Native that they are God's true and only chosen people. And with being God's true and only chosen people comes with a set of responsibilities. Those responsibilities is to take care of each other, look out for one another, love each other. You know what I'm saying? And unfortunately, all across the news feed, all across your social media feed, there's a story. There's a story of some weak brother who attacked a sister. What was his reason? It doesn't even matter. He attacked the sister with a brick across her face because she wouldn't give up her digits. She wouldn't give up her number to him. So he hit her with a brick. Everything about that says Caucasian to me. Everything about that says white boy to me. Everything about it says we are trying to be like them. It's weak. It's weak as hell. But that's the story that we're getting. And as a story, as we hear it, that's how I'm going to deliver it to you. I mean, I don't believe the sister story is too far off from the truth. I don't believe he has a leeway towards it. And nobody's coming in defense of the brother. So it more leads me to believe what she's saying is true. But it's sad. It's sad as hell. It's sad as hell. You know what I'm saying? There's absolutely no reason to attack a woman just because she rejects you. I mean, we are black men in America. If there's one thing that we should be used to is rejection. The job market rejects us. The health, you know what I'm saying, system rejects us. Our families reject us. We should be used to rejection by now. If for a woman to say no, you should have shrugged it off. Understand that there's at least about 1 million other women like her that you can shoot your shot with. Understand you shoot your shot and you landed a brick. That don't mean hit her in the face with a brick. Not at all. You know what I'm saying? Like, us as black men, rejection is part of our lives. I know the story that's going on now is that we can't handle rejection, which is not true. If one thing that we can handle is rejection, the thing is that we most likely we're just sick of it. We're just sick of rejection. But at the same time, being sick of rejection does not give you the right to hit a woman in the face with a brick. It does not. You know what I'm saying? And we're gonna go to where would I like to start? Let's go to Deuteronomy 28. Let's start with the curses. The curses is the foundation to who we are. It proves who we are biblically. So let's go to Deuteronomy 28. go to Deuteronomy 28, verse 53. If you're there, read along with me. If you're not, we probably go about 4 verses deep, about 4 or 5. All right? Deuteronomy chapter 28, verse 53. And thou shalt eat the fruit of thine own body, the flesh of thy sons and of thy daughters, which the Lord thy God hath given thee. So that means we are destroying ourselves. We are destroying ourselves. We are consuming our own flesh because this is what our enemy wants us to do. And due to our lack of discipline and obedience, the Lord is allowing it to be done. This is not what it's supposed to be. But due to us following our enemy's culture, due to integration, due to interracial relationships, due to eating pork, crab, shrimp, and lobster, due to the Christian church, so forth and so on, this is what is. This is what is. You know what I'm saying? I'm going to read that from the top again. And thou shalt eat the fruit of thy own body. What is the fruit of thy own body? Black man, what is the fruit of your body? That's that seed that you put in that woman. Black woman, what is the fruit of your body? That is the seed that is put in you and that you nurture for 9 to 10 months. You nurture that baby. You take care of that baby. You help that baby grow in your womb. You know what I'm saying? That's family ties right there. That's some of importance. Some of something that you should look up to and appreciate and take care of. But our enemy has you thinking that this is secondary. Our enemy has you thinking that your own prosperity is what matters. Our enemy has you thinking that you should not even have a child unless you're prosperous in his society. If you're not prosperous in his world, you should not be having children. That's the way our enemy thinks. You know what I'm saying? But let me continue. With the Lord that God hath given thee, in the siege and in the straitness, with thine enemies shall distress thee. See, showing you right there, this is the cause of our enemy. Our enemy is stressing us out with this. Our enemy is stressing us out, saying that we are not prepared to be a family. We are not prepared to look out for each other. We're not prepared to hit each other, to not hit each other with bricks. We're not prepared for that because we are chasing his goals. See, sis, social media will have you to believe like that woman, before she got hit with the brick. I've seen a couple of videos of her. She was a pro-black sister. She wasn't dissing black men. But believe me, after this, she will be. She for sure will be. But before this, she was all about black love. And then this incident happens to her, that's going to destroy that sister. She's going to be against black love, and that's what the enemy wants. That brother that did it, who knows what was going through his mind, but I'm pretty sure he wasn't always against black love. He wasn't always against black people looking out for each other. But something was planted in his mind. Something was planted up here to make him hate his own people. What was it? Let me tell you what it was. It was social media and our enemy. Social media has you thinking black women are against black men and black men is against black women. And it's not true. What they do is take situation like what happened and make it look like it's the norm. It's not the norm. The last time you heard of a black man attacking a black woman because she rejected him, literally about 3 years ago. 2 to 3 years ago, when a brother in New York did it to a woman. It's not a common occurrence, but our enemy will make it look like it's a common occurrence. They will feed it all throughout the social media like it's a common occurrence. I do agree. There's a lot of black men that are not able to accept rejection. They are not built to accept rejection. And understand, the world been rejecting you, and sooner or later you get frustrated. I understand. But don't get frustrated at your own people. Look, black women specifically outnumber black men by numbers 3 to 1. Now, if you take those numbers and adjust it to the society that we live in, when you add the LGBTQ and you add the prison system, black women alone outnumber black men literally 8 to 1. So there's no reason for a black man to be hitting on a black woman. No reason for him to be busting her across the head with a brick. Because the one that rejected you, well, there's 7 other possibilities that will not. There's 7 other possibilities that will not reject you. So why are you focusing on this one woman? Was she that special to you? Is she that important? Are you that weak that woman means that much to you? Look, I'm going to open up the class to questions and everything else. You know what I'm saying? Going to open up the class to questions. If you have any questions, type them on in. You know what I'm saying? But that's the question that must be asked. The sister was bust in the face with a brick. I'm not gonna show the video that the sister made. It's graphic, and I heard of a lot of people getting pulled down because of it. The sister's face was out here, like on one side, just swollen. And there's no legitimacy behind it. So that brother that did that, you got to ask yourself, I don't know if you're listening or not. Don't care if you are not. Because maybe there's a brother that might go through the same thing that might be listening. Don't. It's not worth it. It's not worth it. Her rejection is 7 other women that might accept, that might appreciate your attention, that might appreciate your interest. Her rejecting it, small potatoes. Small potatoes. Let me tell you something. The Lord made women outnumber men for a reason. If men outnumber women, do you understand the chaos that would happen? If it was blatantly known that women were outnumbered by men, do you understand what would happen to this world? Think about it. A single man out there knows that there's little to no chance of him getting a woman. What is he going to do? Oh, the number of rape would at least be tripled. The number of violence against women will at least be doubled, if not more. If not more. But the simple fact is society have us believing that we should be worshiping women. Society has us believing that we should be put women on a pedestal. We lose sight of such things. We lost sight of that women are plentiful. Women are everywhere. We don't need to be chasing down women. Women might need to be chasing down men. Women might need to be chasing down women. See, society has women believing that they are rare and they're the prize, when every woman that believes that is a cookie cutout, literally a cookie cutout of each other. With the eyelashes, the BBLs, the weave, so forth and so on. You look like trannies. You see what I'm saying? Brothers, do not do it. But let's continue. Verse 53 from the top. And thou shalt eat the fruit of thy own body, the flesh of thy sons and of thy daughters, which the Lord thy God hath given thee, in the siege and in the straitness wherewith thy enemies shall distress thee. See, we are a family. We got to focus on that. Focus on the fact that we are a family. And the whole enemy's purpose is to tear that apart. So he will have a black man hit a black woman in the face with a brick. Because black woman, they see what happens to one of them, happens to all of them. Which I do see not a bad thing. Y'all should see it like that. But you got to take in perspective. It's not that. This is a black man. And these occurrences are not common. These occurrences are not common. Let's say the unspoken ones might be a sister being cussed out, might be a sister being pushed. She might even get slugged. But hit in the face with a brick, uncommon. Yes, black men not handling rejection well is sort of common, sort of. I say sort of because it's more of a generational thing. It's more of a generational thing. And not just generational, might be more individual too. You might have a person who is used to get any and every woman he wants, and you rejecting him might just hurt him. He's not at the status that he was in his youth, and you know what I'm saying. He's not where he was, and it might hurt him a bit. It might destroy him. It might hurt his feelings, and he might react in a way that is unfitting for a man. So be it. Not so be it in the respect of the sisters, but so be it in whatever will befall that brother because he wasn't raised to deal with rejection properly, which is shrugs, which is there's plenty more fish in the sea. I mean, I come from the 80s, you know what I'm saying, in the 90s. But that saying there's more fish in the sea was so common that it would repeat it so much that we knew what it was instantly. We knew what it meant instantly. Or is it something that we had to figure out? We knew what it meant instantly, that there's plenty of fish in the sea, that there's plenty other women to holler at, plenty other women to shoot your shot at. So why are you so distraught of this one woman rejecting you? Why are you so butthurt about it? You know why? Because our enemy made it that way. Our enemy got you thinking that you specifically, not even black men, because black men do not feel like this on the general. We got you feeling that you are entitled to that woman's attention. And I blame the Christian church and our oppressor. Because they ain't teaching black men how to game up on women. To spit some game like we lost game. So we out here hitting black women in the face with bricks like fucking children. Slack it for my language. Like children. Like weak men. I can't say what I want to say due to the fact that we are on social media, and I apologize for my current language. But that's what society have us feeling. So these younger brothers can't handle rejection. I was raised around rejection. Look, I've been told not to do this, but I'm going to do this, all right? My life is nothing but rejection. My own goddamn mother rejected me. I wasn't raised by my mother. She literally abandoned me. My father was forced to deal with me, and then when my father got super sick, I was rejected by his wife and the rest of the family. Dealing with rejection is natural amongst black men of my generation. My story is not rare. It's actually common. My story is common. I know society like you would like you to believe that black women took care of it. No. I know plenty of black men that was not raised by their mothers, was rejected by their own mothers, was rejected by their families, was rejected by their fathers. Rejection is something that my generation should understand very well. But this brother wasn't of my generation. This brother was of a generation where women like to coddle their children and tell them that they are more than what they actually are. So now he feels entitled when he is rejected to hit a woman in the face with a brick. Let me read the next verse. Verse 54. So that the man that is tender among you and very delicate, like that's what you are. A man that can't handle rejection, a man that can't handle a little disappointment, whatever it may be. He is tender. He is a tender man. He is soft. He is weak. There's too many women out here for you to hit another woman in the face with a brick just because she says she don't want you. Just because she said, I don't want to give you my number. And you hit her in the face with a brick. Understand. Your feelings will hurt. Guess what? Let me prepare you for the rest of the world. Your feelings will be hurt every day in the society that hates black, Hispanic, and Native men. Your feelings will be hurt every day. Every day your feelings are going to be hurt. You're going to go for a job at your utmost desperation and be rejected, which forced you to sell drugs, which forced your woman to go on a stripper pole or on OnlyFans. This is part of the rejection that this world gives us. You should be expecting it by now. What makes you so special is so much better than the generations before us? What makes you better than the generation before us? That's the question that must be asked. The things they suffered. I mean, granted, there was men back then in the 60s and 70s that couldn't handle rejection, but guess what? They wasn't hitting women in the face with bricks. They wasn't jumping women. They handled it with grace and cool. They knew there was much, much, much more fish in the sea. Women outnumber black women, straight black women outnumber straight black men 8-1 nowadays. That's not including the vicarious women, which I believe are just straight women that just have a trauma that they ain't ready to deal with. Keep your hands to yourself. It's just that simple. Don't hit a woman in the face with a brick. That's what weak black men do. Now let's read this back from the top. Verse 54. So that the man that is tender among you and very delicate, that's what that man was. He was tender and very delicate. He was weak. He was trying to figure out a way I can say it the way I want to say it, but not say it the way I want to say it. Sometimes I might just have to get in and deal with the chicken. He was pussy. He was straight up and down pussy. He was weak, soft, and effeminate. That's the way I should have said it. Slash that. He was effeminate. He was effeminate. He couldn't deal with rejection. Something that you should be used to from birth in this society that we live in today. Black men are rejected every day. Black women are rejected every day. Rejection is part of being Black, Hispanic, and Native. It's literally a part of it. You cannot be a part of this society as a Black, Hispanic, and Native person without understanding rejection. You can't. But let's continue. His eyes shall be evil towards his brother. What it means, his eyes shall be evil towards his brother, other black men. Why do you think we're killing each other? Because we're tender, delicate, weak, sensitive, and all that. Effeminate. So when a black man does something, when a black, you know what I'm saying, you feel some type of way. But that's just a brother. You think it doesn't account for the opposite side of the spectrum of siblings? You are very weak towards your sister too. That black woman that got hit in the face with a brick was that man's sister. He didn't know that. Know why? Know why he didn't know that? Because the Christian church seems to teach us. It seems to teach Black, Hispanic, and Natives salvation is personal. It teaches us that we got to look out for ourselves. You only live once. That's what the Christian church teaches us. It teaches individualism. No other society believes in it. No other society believes in individualism but Black, Hispanic, and Natives. We look out for ourselves, which is completely against the scriptures, completely against our way of life before we was integrated. Look, us looking out for ourselves is very new. It's very new. It's something that started back in the late 50s, early 60s, late 60s. Is in the fight of integration. When one man named Michael King wanted to go to the movies and to a restaurant with his white girlfriend. He could not do that, so he took on the name Martin Luther and got with a black woman and promoted interracial relationships, promoted interracial society, promoted integration, which all in all was never integration. Integration is when two societies interact and mix with each other. That's integration. What actually was done was assimilation, which is when one society interacts and blends in with another, which is what us as Black, Hispanic, and Natives are doing, all due to America's favorite Negro, Martin Luther King. You know what I'm saying? But let's continue. And toward the wife of his bosom, and toward the remnant of his children, which he shall leave. Like, if you don't understand, this is a scripture purely on domestic violence, but not just that, because it's set against his brother. It's more on a social issue amongst Black, Hispanic, and Natives. You know what I'm saying? It's more on a social issue. And there's a huge, huge social issue amongst Black, Hispanic, and Natives. You know what I'm saying? There's a huge social issue amongst us. We'd rather look out for ourselves than each other. And are too blind to see how looking out for each other is more beneficial for looking out for ourselves. Think about it. You looking out for yourself, you are looking out for yourself by yourself. But if we are a society looking out for each other, you are looking out for multiple people, and guess what? Guess what? Take a wild guess. Multiple people are looking out for you. And that's what the Israelite School of Universal and Practical Knowledge under Commander General Yohana prides itself on. Looking out for each other, taking care of each other. If one hit the concrete, we all hit the concrete. You know what I'm saying? That's what we do. Look out for each other. If I'm not hitting the concrete while y'all on the concrete, guess what? It's my job to get y'all off that concrete. Literally my job. You know what I'm saying? Let's continue. Verse 55. So that he will not give to any of them of the flesh of his children. Like, we're not taking care of our children. We're not taking care of our women. We're not taking care of each other. And that's all due to this society telling us to look out for ourselves. Individualism is something that only Black, Hispanic, and Natives participate in. Everybody else participate in one word: nepotism. They look out for each other. Yeah, you may think that degree makes you all qualified for this job, but guess what? If that CEO's nephew's going up for the same job, guess what? He has to go through the formalities. He has to get interviewed, blah, blah, blah. But guess what? He's going to get that job no matter how much more qualified you are. no matter how much more qualified you are, because they practice in nepotism. We should do the same. We should look out for each other. You know what I'm saying? But let's continue. Verse 56. The tender and delicate woman among you, which will not adventure to set her sole of her foot upon the ground for delicateness and tenderness. Like our women, yeah, they emotional, they sensitive, and yeah, they show it every day. She is not going to set her foot upon the ground due to the tenderness and delicateness. And we see that. My next verse is going to prove that. My next verse is going to prove that. Our women are very tender, sensitive, and delicate. We all know that. Nobody's more tender and sensitive than a black woman. She expresses it every day with her rants and emotions. All throughout the social media. She shows her weakness on a daily. You know what I'm saying? Well, let's continue. Okay. Her eyes shall be evil towards her husband of her bosom. Black woman's eyes are towards evil towards her husband of her bosom. The man who lays his head across her bosom for comfort, puts her head on her bosom for comfort, and she is likely to betray that brother. That's because of the society that we live in. That's the society that we live in. Know why? Because it amplifies and insecures the foolishness that black women are involved in. Like, let's take Keke Palmer, for example. That man puts his head across her bosom. He is comforted by that woman. He puts her head across her bosom. She probably rubbing his head. They probably having all types of pillow talk. He is comforted by her. And what does she do? She goes out half naked and goes to an usher concert. She goes to the usher concert, gets seduced by a brother who is tender, soft, and delicate. I mean, you don't have to be a weirdo to understand that. Usher's probably a homosexual. You know, come on. Us as black men, we understand what a masculine man is and what a feminine man is. And Usher's tilting more on the feminine side than masculine. But she decided to go out to his concert and he seduced her. Embarrass her man in front of the world. And what do? They make a song together, further embarrassing him. Black woman, you are very tender and delicate and weak and soft and so forth and so on towards the man of your bosom, the man that you are supposed to be comforting, the man that you're supposed to be a pillar of support to. Let me tell you something. Keke Palmer's situation is a whole lot more common than the brother that hit a black woman in the face with a brick. Just because she wouldn't give him the number. But let me tell you something. They both are wrong. They both are weak and they both are a detriment to our community. So they both got to be dealt with equally. They both got to be dealt with equally. Let's continue. Let's continue. Her eyes shall be evil towards the husband of her bosom, and toward her son. You got to remember, these black men that's hitting women in the face with the brick, I'll guarantee you there's a 95% chance he is raised by a tender, sensitive, delicate black woman by herself, who probably raised him that it's okay to do such things. She probably raised him that it's okay. You know what I'm saying? But let's continue. Her eyes shall be evil towards the husband of her bosom, and toward her son, and toward her daughter, and toward her young one that cometh out from between her feet, and toward her children which she shall bear, for she shall eat them for want of all things secretly in the siege and straitness. Like, understand this. Black women going to use and abuse their kids. They're going to fight. They're going to put bills in their names. They're going to do all types of manner of madness. I understand that. But that's not the focus. I wanted to bring that out for a purpose, right? You think that motion of a single black woman, what she does to her kids, don't affect those grown black men that's beating black women in the head with bricks? You think that don't affect them? You think there's no connection there? You think there's absolutely no connection with that bitter woman that's mad because his daddy got another woman? You think there's no connection there? Because she's not that all in all to one man. Guess what? I got news for you, black woman. You will never be an all in all to any man, because you're not. You might cook, you might clean, but there's always something off. Some of you don't cook and don't clean. It's expect to be all in all. You're not. But you take it out on your children, and you think your children ain't going to take it out on others? You think your daughters ain't going to end up sleeping with 30 dudes and having all 30 of them claiming one child? Next thing you know, those dudes are killing each other over that. You don't think that your son's going to end up hitting a woman in the face with a brick? Are you truly thinking your action through clearly? Are you truly thinking it clearly? Are you truly prepared to respond for the chess moves that come after your move? Are you prepared for it? I don't think you are. Well, let's finish it up. Oh, I did finish that up already. Hold on. I did finish that up. Let's go to the next verse. All right. Let me find it real quick. All right. Let's go to 1 Peter 3:7. I'm gonna type that in there. Let's go with it. 1 Peter 3:7. Is for a little further understanding. You know what I'm saying? Something that your OGs probably never taught you. But that's literally my job in the ISUPK, to teach you things that your OG did not teach you. Things that they probably should have been taught themselves. You know what I'm saying? Like, let's read it. First Peter chapter 3, verse 7. Likewise, ye husbands, dwell with them according to knowledge, giving honor unto the wife. Like the way that you deal with her is giving honor to her. You are showing that you feel secured in her. You are teaching, you are guiding her, you are letting her be that pillar. You are letting her out in public to display who she is because you have that trust in her. You know what I'm saying? But let's continue. As unto the weaker vessel. What does it mean as unto the weaker vessel? What does it mean as unto the weaker vessel? Does that mean women are weaker than men? Is that what it means? Does that mean that women are weaker than men? Let me tell you something. The weaker vessels. What is a vessel? What is a vessel? A vessel is something that holds something else. A pot, a bowl, a cup. You know what I'm saying? A plate, a body. You know what I'm saying? Those are weaker vessels. No, those are vessels in general. What's a weaker vessel? Does that mean her body's weaker? Let me tell you something. The most weak and delicate cups, plates, bowls, vases, the things that would shatter very easily, those type of things, those weak vessels, let me tell you something. Those so-called weak vessels are a whole lot more valuable. Let me tell you, a porcelain cup costs a whole lot more than a steel cup. You know what I'm saying? A porcelain vase is a whole lot more than a clay vase. It's cost, even though it's weaker, it's more fragile, it's more likely to break. It is still a whole lot more valuable. You know why? Oh, you know why? Because it is more fragile. Because there has to be more time spent with it. You have to be more delicate with it. You have to, you know what I'm saying? Take your time and nurture it. You just don't fling it around all willy nilly. You ain't playing frisbee with a porcelain plate. Will you play it with a paper plate? Yeah. Will you play it with a clay plate? Yeah. Will you play frisbee with a metal plate? Yeah, you will. Depending on the metal, of course. If it's gold, you probably won't, but even gold don't break. You just won't do it because you know it's gold. But it's not more fragile than porcelain. It's not. You would take care of those fragile things. Look out for those fragile things. You know what I'm saying? And you got to see your woman and your children as that, as fragile, weaker vessels that are not built to deal with the things that you deal with. So it's your job to deal with it, protect them from it. That's your job as a black man. You know what I'm saying? But let's continue. Let's continue. And as being heirs together of the grace of life, that your prayers be not hindered. Like, we are in this together. Domestic violence and all that, man, that's that individualism. But a black man taking care and protecting black women is actually more beneficial to us than individualism. I know there's crowds. I ain't out there protecting no stranger, man. F that. F that. Assess the situation. Then do what you gotta do. But don't just let a black woman get hit in the face with a brick. Because I heard the brother was not alone. He had homies out there with him. Those homies were soft, delicate, and tender towards him because they ain't try to protect him from the situation. They ain't try to protect him from the situation. Like, he might go to jail. He might go to prison. I don't know the brother's situation. Maybe he got kids. Maybe he don't. But they was not looking out for him, period. Because they would have told him, chill the fuck out. I mean, sorry for my language. Chill out. Go sit down. Relax. She told you no, no means no. Like, yo, there's other women out here. Like, who is she? She ain't that special. If you seen the woman, she's average. Average as hell. And he lost his wits over a average chick. Like, yo. Let's go to another one. Let's go to another one. Hold on. Let me find. I'm looking for a specific verse. I believe it's in the Apocrypha. Yeah, it is in the Apocrypha. Hold on. Yeah. First Esdras 4 and 26. I'm going to read the verse above that first. All right. Let's start with 25. First Esdras chapter 4, verse 25. Wherefore a man loveth his wife better than father or mother, which is very true. A man, maybe because our way of thinking is different from women's, but a man will always put his women, plural, because a man is very capable of putting women ahead of his mother and father. That's just the way of us doing things. We are very capable of doing such things. Putting our women ahead of mother and father. It's only righteous. Because we're supposed to be leaving our mother and father and joining together with our woman. It's supposed to be a separation there. I know a lot of people today like to involve their family into their drama, but that's wrong and that's weak. You know what I'm saying? It's wrong and it's weak, but that's diverting from what I'm trying to talk about. But let's continue. Yeah, many there be that have run of Salakia. Yea, many there be that have run out of their wits for women. Like a lot of brothers that lost their minds over. Like that brother that hit that woman in the face with a brick, he obviously lost his mind for something so average. He lost his mind for something so average. And Now look at them. And look, no. Now look at us. Because of his actions, he got black men in general looking bad because we all know black women take what happens to one as if it happened to all of them. We know that's how they do things. You call a specific woman the B word, they act like you called every black woman the B word, including your mama and aunties and everything else. So with that reaction alone, you should know when you hit one in the face with a brick, they're gonna act as if every black man on this planet hit every black woman on this planet in the face with a brick. That's how they're gonna act. That's why they're the weaker vessel. They think emotionally. It's for us to hold them in a way that they be able to withstand the BS that they believe. You know what I'm saying? And they need us. Let's get to it. They need that type of way of thinking in their lives just to survive in this world that we live in. That emotional way of thinking is just going to get them further destroyed. We'll continue. And become servants for their sakes. Like, you becoming weak and emotional towards women, all that makes you is their slave. That makes you weak and emotional towards them. That makes you weak and emotional towards their way of life and their way of thinking. And it's not good because they're going to approach that to every black man on this planet. They're going to use that way of thinking as if it's going to work on every black man. And it's not going to work on barely any. So what they're going to do, they're going to shame black men for just not accepting it. That's not the way it is. But Salakia, I'm going to end the class. This Officer Carl Ariel hit me up by the Israelite School of Universal and Practical Knowledge straight out of Harlem, New York, under Commandant General Yohana. We are currently in Boston. And with that, shalom.